Hello and welcome to CTV News Across Canada for Friday, November 21st. We've got the top local stories from coast to coast, stories that affect you and the country. Thanks for joining us.
Flames can be seen shooting from a Brampton home, blasting from the peak of the roof as firefighters try their best to get the two-alarm blaze under control.
I ran out barefooted. I saw everywhere. Saw smokes and then lots of firefighters, police, everything.
My son wake up me, I'm sleeping. So when I see Papa, please wake up the fire neighbor. So when I see the like that, it's a big fire.
It was just before 2:15 a.m. when fire broke out in a residence near McLaughlin and Remembrance Roads.
The lady from the house, she came, she knocked on our door. She was burnt. She had blood.
Sushma Kashyap lives in the adjoining house and says she woke up to her pregnant neighbor pleading for assistance.
She was asking for help, and she has her son over there on the roof, over the garage. Maybe they came out of the window.
And imagine that 5-year-old had the courage to leap out of a burning building. Speaks to, something miraculous in the midst of this tragedy.
4 family members, including a child, would escape by way of an upstairs window. 2 others would be found dead, one just inside the home, another just outside.
We believe that there's a total of 11 people associated to the residence. We have 4 that are in hospital. We have 2 confirmed deceased and 2 that were uninjured, with the potential of 3 further injured or deceased at this point. They're just unaccounted for.
Fire officials can't enter the home at this point due to a fear of structural collapse.
It's impossible for our crews to get inside to determine if there's any other people in that house. So we've called in a heavy equipment to come in to systematically start pulling that house apart.
It's believed 9 of the residents were from the same family, with 2 other renters living in the basement.
I would note this is not licensed to have multiple tenants.
While he doesn't have all the details in this case, Brampton's mayor says the home was owned by an absentee landlord who had applied to create a second unit in the basement in 2019.
There was a series of orders to comply that were issued by the building department as the residence was going through that process, and they were in midstream of doing that, unfortunately, when this tragedy happened.
Orders to comply ignored continually over 6 years, and yet the city could not prevent the landlord from renting the home.
We just do not have that ability to do that. We have a number of tools to get them into compliance, and that's what we were utilizing at the time.
It's infuriating. It's why we've had a very public battle in this city about wanting to deal with slum landlords.
While Brampton bylaw inspectors work to track down the landlord, a community is reeling with a tragedy in its midst.
We just saw the dead bodies were there. That's all. I'm still trying to process it, right? Still in trauma, still in shock.
The Ontario Fire Marshal's office is investigating. At last check, Peel Regional Police told us that the 4 people who were taken to hospital, including the 5-year-old boy, have been upgraded to stable condition. Meanwhile, Brampton Fire tells us the excavation work will begin tomorrow morning. Reporting live, I'm Janice Golding. Now back to Nathan.
Thank you, Janice.
From the mid-2000s until 2016, the prospect of a pipeline to the North Coast galvanized protesters across the province. A federal court eventually overturned Northern Gateway's approval over a lack of consultation. Now Ottawa and Alberta may be on the verge of a memorandum of understanding that could see a similar pipeline proposal and an easing of a tanker ban in waters environmentalists say are among the most dangerous in the world to navigate.
There is a reason why this tanker ban is in place, and oil tankers will never be in that strait and should never be in that strait. It would be absolutely reckless.
During an unrelated interview about a listing cargo barge taking on water near Bella Bella, a Coast Guard official told CTV News coastal First Nations play a key role in marine emergency and hazard response.
It's safe to say that response is heavily reliant on First Nations partners up and down the coast.
But some First Nations say they are under-resourced to respond to even moderate marine emergencies.
We're looking at a vessel of this size right now, and we're under capacity with this response.
North of Bella Bella in Hecate Strait, which oil tankers would cross if a new pipeline was built, weather conditions can change rapidly.
Couple that with the shallow waters, the big waves, the big tides, the big winds, and all the other existing traffic, and the lack of capacity to respond to emergencies, it's a recipe for disaster.
Veterans of the fight against oil pipelines and tankers, those in opposition, vow to put the full weight of their experience and convictions into the next battle.
A pipeline will never happen here. It's not something we can accept, or the tanker traffic.
Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
It's one of Canada's most complex trade issues. Locally made wine, beer, and spirits can't cross provincial borders unless done through government monopolies, such as the SAQ in Quebec or the LCBO in Ontario.
But a Quebec customer is breaking the law by ordering wine from Ontario. So we're faced with a sort of a mishmash of different provincial legislations that are not coherent.
It makes it harder for Quebecers to buy wines grown in the Okanagan Valley in BC or the Niagara region in Ontario, for example. Quebec wine producers face the same obstacles when selling theirs. But after Canadian provinces started boycotting U.S. wines, the federal government pushed for easier trade between provinces. Quebec says it's fully on board.
It's very important to have a new contracts, the new collaboration, the new challenge with different sectors for the economy.
The new legislation would allow individual Quebecers, not businesses, to order Canadian wines directly from sellers in other provinces, something that's currently only legal if done through the SAQ.
It's very important to protect ACQ, but it's possible to protect ACQ and open discussion and open action for the contract alcohol with different provinces and territories.
Poulain is currently in Yukon discussing the issue with his other provincial counterparts. The plan is short on details. Experts say these are likely taking baby steps in opening the wine trade within Canada.
It might be a great opportunity for the Quebec wine industry to sell across, provincial borders, or it might also end up being something that's, in the end, not a major breakthrough.
The change is set to come into effect next spring if all provinces manage to reach a common agreement. Stéphane Giroux, CTV News.
Chuck Jones is paying for his groceries and doesn't hold back when asked about the price of food.
It's insane. Absolutely insane.
Debbie Sulveson agrees.
Too steep, especially for seniors on a fixed income.
The shoppers say worrying about being able to afford groceries is always on their minds.
It's the one thing since COVID that I have to think the most about.
I have to really be careful. I look for specials and things on deals, and I shop around. I move from store to store.
They're not alone. A new report from Dalhousie University shows food affordability remains a huge concern, with a majority of Canadians changing how they shop, cook, and eat to cope with high prices. The report says Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba show the highest levels of financial strain.
Manitoba would be a top-tier province, basically, when it comes to food inflation vulnerability and anxiety.
The report comes the same week Premier Wab Kinew says his government will take a deeper dive into costs. His throne speech Tuesday promised a study to try and find ways to help people save money on groceries.
My hope is that we're going to take this study to understand what is driving grocery prices in Manitoba so that we could come back to you by the spring budget with some concrete steps to help you on the cost of living.
Sylvain Charlebois, the Agri-Food Analytics Lab Director at Dalhousie University, says there are things provinces can do to lower prices, like cutting the sales tax from everything we eat, and, based on calculations at his lab, eliminating interprovincial trade barriers on food would also go a long way.
The average Canadian could save up to $300 a year, and right now it matters a lot.
The Premier also pointed to the previous gas tax holiday in Manitoba as one way they helped save people money. So, Marilee, we'll see what they come up with.
All right, looking forward to seeing. Thanks, Jeff.
I said, no, something's seriously wrong here.
This mini home hasn't been lived in for 20 years. Krista Peterson-Brannan says it was gutted with new energy-efficient appliances installed. She was stunned at her 2 recent power bills, $600 each.
Where could an estimation come for this piece of property when no one has been here for 20 years?
NSP wants about a 4.1% hike for residential customers each of the next 2 years.
I just think it's incredibly tone deaf to be asking for another power rate increase during a period of time when they failed Nova Scotians so badly.
The utility offering this explanation today.
When we experienced the cyber incident and detected that on April the 25th, our ability to communicate with the meters was affected.
So they started estimating bills, sending newly hired crews out to read meters. He says no late fees or interest are being charged and no one will be disconnected. Customers will only pay for what they use.
It's unbelievable. The consumer has nowhere else to go. We are with Nova Scotia Power, and that's our only option. It's not like we have companies like cell phones.
The province is requiring the CEO to testify at a legislative committee next week.
This is a company that has lost the trust of the people. So when they say we'll settle up later, people aren't going to believe that.
We do want to restore that trust, and we have been working to rebuild that trust. We're working as hard as we can to restore everything and get our systems back to normal. We do understand that our customers right now expect more of us, and our commitment is to keep working at this.
In a rare move, the opposition is on the same page as the government, but wants the company and province to go even further.
I think that calling the utility to a committee is important. We want to hear from them, but not at all sufficient.
The Houston government vows to make the utility accountable. Meanwhile, Nova Scotia Power aims to have all bills fixed early in the new year. Callum Smith, CTV News, Halifax.
Camp Fortune is kickstarting the winter season, blasting snow guns around the clock, and in a few weeks, this could be the view. So if it's the slopes you want to hit and not your wallet, let's shush out some deals, starting with the gear.
I've just retired, and I'm going to start skiing again.
Fraser Jennings is keeping his costs low by tuning up what he already owns.
This is the old gear. I am going to have to buy some stuff, but yeah, I'm going to at least start with my old skis.
Skiing can be expensive, but it doesn't have to be, and we know that.
Mitch Craig with Kuhnstadt Sports says there's plenty of options from new to used or even a full season lease.
$220 for the junior package, $320 for the adult package. That includes skis, boots, bindings, poles, everything you need to get on the hill.
And the retailer is seeing higher sales this year, perhaps as people trade sunny beaches for snow-covered slopes.
We've managed to keep our ski tickets relatively under control. Some of that's eating into our margins, but that's, I think, something that is an individual business decision.
The Canadian Ski Council says while U.S. tariffs have impacted costs in many markets, they're trying to keep things affordable, offering a full-day experience for $30 for first-timers.
What it allows people to do is not risk a lot.
Lift tickets may seem like another mountain of money, but price points vary depending on the day and time. At Camp Fortune, one-day night passes start around $40. Season passes can cost a couple of hundred, up to $840 for unlimited access, which remains competitive amongst the more than half dozen ski hills around the region.
A full season's pass pays for itself in 14 visits, so if you are a regular skier, it is well worth your while to lock in at a season's pass.
For Fraser, skiing isn't about the cost, it's about the return on the investment.
I'm going to spend more time with the people I care about and ski with them.
So if you really love skiing and you're ready to invest in that season's pass, the best time to buy is actually at the end of the season, March and into the summer. You can see savings of up to 30%. Patricia.
And you can après-ski for just the price of a drink, so there's that too. CTV's Tyler Fleming live for us tonight. Thank you.
So, and if they decline, we'd be setting it back further. The matter of urgency is gone.
I can add an amendment if they decline.
This debate at the Greater Essex County District School Board meeting Tuesday night is the latest event that caught the attention of the province's education minister.
The dysfunction that is happening there
is on my radar.
Bill 33 gives Paul Calandra sweeping powers to take control of school boards when they, quote, fall off the rails.
They spent more time trying to decide if they should post resumes or post a job description than they did speaking about education in the system.
Calandra, speaking on AM 800, says a combination of that Tuesday night discussion, the resignations of 3 trustees, and a deficit is proof change is needed.
I'm very strongly looking at eliminating the role of trustee.
Windsor West MPP Lisa Gretzky doesn't agree with eliminating trustees, but agrees individuals need to be held accountable for any wrongdoing.
If there is misconduct by trustees, there needs to be repercussions for those individual trustees.
But she says having a local representative is essential.
If there's an issue, whether it's busing or violence in the classrooms, people can't get a hold of these supervisors and get answers.
Gretzky says an overwhelming number of teachers and parents don't agree with Bill 33.
In less than 48 hours, we know that over 100,000 emails have been sent to the government opposing this legislation and opposing the way the government rushed it through the legislature with very little debate.
She claims the minister is deflecting, not addressing the real issue, underfunding of the public education system.
For the Minister of Education to come out with a blanket statement that there is rampant problems and everything that's going wrong in the education system is a result of the trustees, that's just false. Absolutely false.
This afternoon, a statement from the Public Board's chair, Gail Hatfield. It reads in part, the overwhelming value of public education matters and local democracy remains essential. We intend to continue serving our communities with purpose and prioritizing the well-being and success of every student.
The countdown is on. Come spring 2027, the top junior hockey teams in Canada will converge at Guelph's Sleeman Centre, all hoping to walk away with the Memorial Cup.
It's an exciting day for our city, it's an exciting day for our fans, and obviously it's a hugely exciting day for our team.
The CHL making the announcement Thursday afternoon. The decision had come down to either the Guelph Storm or the Kitchener Rangers. The awarding of the tournament done by an independent panel of 5 leaders in the sport and business communities.
We know that it's going to be great here. We are going to put on a good show.
The event will coincide with the city's 200th birthday.
There's not a lot of opportunities to celebrate 200 years for a city. And to have everything came out of COVID, it changed the bid cycle for the OHL, and all of a sudden everything lined up.
They really showcased that and really sold the story and the storylines of why Guelph is great, not only inside of the arena, but outside of the arena.
Mayor Cam Guthrie promising a big bash with lots of celebratory events in the lead up. The arena's location in the middle of the city, close to transit, businesses, but also walking trails and nature, added draws.
I think people are going to really enjoy coming here, especially those that are tourists. And, you know, for those people that maybe they want to just take in a really big event like this, an opportunity for them to come down and see some great hockey.
They have a fantastic fan base here. They sell out 90% to complete sellouts for a lot of their games, even if they're not a competitive in a season. So I think they told a story that they're true hockey fans and they love their community.
The Storm have played in 6 Memorial Cups, but have never won. Guelph last hosted the event in 2002, and with the host city guaranteed a spot for the players, they now know they will be among the final 4 teams, vying for the trophy in 2027.
That's what you play for. You play to win a championship, and I mean, going in knowing that that's in the bag for you, and now you just have to build the team to compete, not just compete, but to win. It's got to be exciting for every player involved.
Whatever the outcome of the tournament, the city is expected to be a winner. The economic impact of hosting the Memorial Cup is estimated by the CHL at $12 to $21 million.
So again, the tournament will be in the spring of 2027. The exact dates will be announced in the future. Tony.
Krista Simpson with some big news for the Royal City. Krista, thank you for that.
And from our perspective, this was an unnecessary delay in allowing to Albertans to have a discussion about this very important issue.
That delay is in the form of a hearing underway in the Court of King's Bench this week to determine if his client's proposed referendum question violates the Constitution. He represents Mitch Sylvester with the Alberta Prosperity Project, who in July put forward the question, do you agree that the province of Alberta shall become a sovereign country and cease to be a province in Canada?
We have a courtroom filled with over 20 lawyers, and everybody is arguing over what the meaning of the word proposal means and what the word contravene means.
There are several interveners arguing the issue, including Counsel for Elections Alberta. It was the Chief Electoral Officer who referred the question to the courts. According to Alberta Citizen Initiative Act, proposed referendum questions must respect Sections 1 through 35.1 of the Constitution Act. Rath has yet to argue his client's side.
We just want to get on with gathering signatures and having a referendum on independence.
Several lawyers representing different First Nations were also granted last-minute intervener status and will have until the beginning of December to submit their positions. Rath says a decision is expected before Christmas and doesn't expect the late submissions to impact that timeline.
It's not legally binding, on the rest of the country. It doesn't automatically affect separation. It leads to the government of Alberta being able to seek those amendments with the rest of the partners in Confederation, but it doesn't immediately cause anything to happen.
Forever Canadian, a group that formed in opposition, says it's collected more than 450,000 signatures on the question of whether Alberta should stay in Canada. That citizen-led petition is in the process of being verified by Elections Alberta. If the Alberta Prosperity Project's question is approved, the group would have 4 months to collect 177,000 signatures to get the question to ballot. The hearing continues on Thursday. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
And you are up. I need your 4-digit combination.
This is Kim Johnston, a well-known Medicine Hat DJ, in a video recorded when he was still hosting his daily show, and his voice was his livelihood.
Well, hang on, one by one. This is what it looks like when I try to talk. Just kind of clenches
And this, from a Facebook post he shared this week, is him now.
And it's really difficult to...
His speech has collapsed, his muscles spasm, and he says he's lost the ability to do the job he loves.
Over the past number of months, I've had just speech problems, and it was just really difficult to put my finger on what exactly has been happening.
After months of decline, an MRI in October found an arachnoid cyst pressing on his trigeminal motor nerve, the nerve that controls jaw movement and speech. Kim says his symptoms are worsening every week, and he hasn't been able to eat solid food for months. He was told his first neurological assessment isn't until January, nearly 4 months after the cyst was found.
It's terrifying, absolutely terrifying. The longer this condition is allowed to go unchecked, the greater risk of permanent damage. And I feel that it is very possible that that damage may be well underway.
With no answers, Kim has now taken his fight public, using social media to pressure provincial officials to act.
It just doesn't stop.
He says he's not trying to score political points, he's trying to survive, and he's pleading for help for rural Albertans who can't afford to wait months for specialized care.
I'm not about placing the blame on any political thing. I don't care about the bureaucracy, but rural Albertans who are suffering from perhaps lesser-known ailments need help because we're not getting it.
Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.